morning. Good chilly morning.
Yes, chilly.
So we are on a mission today. We are looking to make our own live edge table. One more project that was started and completed. We wanted to put a banquet inside the corner where the dinette's going to be. We don't have a table yet, but that's in progress too. And we have some other clips that told you about that. So Brent created the banquet and I painted it. So it goes around the corner there.
So this one here is a full length.
Yeah.
And I've got a couple sections in there. So this end here will basically, and the middle one will be boots.
Okay.
I've got tools in the back one there.
We got tired of taking the tools downstairs. And I didn't really do much painting in the inside. I just did one coat. And then Brent's got some tools and the things that we're always looking for. So Brent and I went online and we found some cushions that have covers and ordered this length that we would need, and we're just waiting on those. Could be towards the probably 2 or 3 weeks. It's still away.
Yeah, it says 3 to 6 weeks from now, but it's already been shipped, so it might be here in a week and a half, might be here in 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Flip a coin.
And they were not made in the USA.
They were not made in Canada either.
No, that's either. Yeah, we're just struggling with this tariff thing.
We had some technical issues, and I realized, or Miriam realized, that we didn't have enough footage of the banquettes that I built, and I just had a problem with one of them. This is one of them here. This is the short one, and this is a solid section here, this section here. The problem I had, I'll flip it back. Sorry, Wrigley. I'm going to cover your food dish for a minute. This bottom here, I have pocket screws holding it there. What I did initially, I had the pocket screws on the top. And I only had 6 in there. And a little while later, or a little while ago, I had some tools stored in there and they fell through. Which I ended up having to re-drill all the holes and put the screws on the bottom side. So they're holding it up instead of holding up from the inside. So I actually put a few extra screws in there in the ends. So I've got 10 screws holding it up now. Should be good and solid. And I have to do the same with that bench as well. That was just bad planning on my part. So what we're going to do is put this one back in place, take the other one, undo all the screws, take it outside, re-drill all the pocket holes, put it back in, and then I can put it back in place and show you what everything looks like. Miriam has painted these completely. As you can see, this one's a nice, I guess, tan color, would you call it, honey?
It's called souffle.
It's called souffle. So the other one's covered up with some blankets and pillow cushions or seat cushions. The dogs love sitting on that one so they can look out the window to the road. They can sit on the other one and look out that window there where the deer walk through all the time. So anyways, just thought I'd throw that in there. And I don't have the plans for these. I found something online and I just changed a couple of the measurements. So it's all 2x4 with a few 1x4s for support and plywood. It's a very simple design. So
We can put
anyway,
a link in the description below.
I'll try and find the link so I can put it down below. Finished off the small bench. It's all back in place, and I took everything out of the large bench and put it on top of the small bench. So this is basically large tools for here. I've got 2 dividers, and then I've got my boots and shoes, and this end will be Miriam's boots and shoes. But as you can see, I've got all the pocket holes done. I've got 4 down each side, and they are actually facing up. They're facing up, so any extra weight will drop the bottom out. Even though I do have a couple of 2x4s in the bottom that sit below this, that would cause problems down the road. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on each corner here, and down at this end here and here, I'm going to put 1 more pocket hole in each corner, and that will tie them into the 2x4s right at the bottom. So once that is done, I will take this, flip it over so all the pocket hole screws are facing down, and then I'll just have to reattach it that way. So it's not a big job. Oh, and then I'm going to put a couple more pocket holes in the dividers that I've got. I've got 2 in the top of each divider. I found that they move a little bit if you put something up against them, so throw a couple more in there, it doesn't hurt. And these pocket holes are easy to do. I've got this awesome little kit that I bought not too long ago. It's a made by Craig. It's a Craig Pocket Hole Jig Owner's Manual. Well, that's the manual. So this is the jig that I'll show you. Our truck's running, warming up right now. So this is a little jig here. This thing works awesome. You can set it for 1/2 inch thick plywood or boards, 3/4 inch thick, or 1.5 inch thick. The 1.5 inch thick, that's the stuff where you're going to be putting it into 2x4s, and it's going to be probably a 2.5 inch screw or a 2 inch screw that goes in, and that holds a lot of weight. So what I've done, these are the dividers here. I've got holes on the tops. I'm just going to throw an extra one here, throw an extra one there. It just solidifies it a little bit more. It's not going to make any difference in the performance of the bench. It's just so if I throw something in heavy, it doesn't push the divider out of the way. So once I get it all done, I'll show you what it looks like. I'm going to put it on time lapse so you can see what I'm doing with the pocket jig. Super easy. It's going to go super quick. As you saw, I put a couple extra pocket holes in the dividers, and then on this guy here I didn't need to do the side ones again because they're still intact, so I put one in each corner. Those will be going directly into the 2x4s on the that are the legs of the unit, so it's going to be solid now. Just got to go inside, put it back together. We're inside now. I've got that bench all taken care of. Just wanted to give you a wider view of it. So that is our banquet bench. This is all one piece, of course. That's one piece there as well. So this one, that's my tool storage. And this one is my tool storage. And then footwear. Got a charger in here. I was thinking about putting, I don't know, work clothes or maybe spare jackets in there, or, well, definitely footwear. We'll go in these 2 here on the end. And we'll just see what else. Who knows, we might throw a dog bin in there, or who knows. It's all still up in the air. Would you like to add anything to this, honey?
No.
No, she's got nothing to say.
Nothing. So we are on a mission today. We are looking to make our own live edge table. We've been looking around for tables online, on Facebook Marketplace, and there just hasn't been anything that is nice and that we were like, oh, that's a good price or whatever. And and to fit our space, because our space is a little bit on the small side. So we went on an adventure to find us a piece of chunk of wood, and we found one. We'll show it to you later. So we picked up this chunk of Douglas fir. So this would be the bottom side of it, Brent?
That's the top.
Okay.
Might be the bottom. Yeah. Depends on how I make it. I'm thinking it's going to be the top because that little cutout there will be close to the counter. This will be close to the door.
Okay. So we got a couple spots we need to level off here. Or we can put some epoxy in there.
I'm going to smooth off this end, smooth off the other end to make them nice and square, and sand the bejesus out of it.
Apparently he cut this Douglas fir tree down in 1998. This gentleman was coming on 80 years old. He's got a big, beautiful piece of property. He's sitting on 23 acres. Apparently he sold off.
He sold off 60.
Across the way. And he's got like farm equipment, and he's very spry.
That's the bottom side.
There we go. That's gonna be a nice table.
Yeah.
It's gonna take some work. Yesterday we told you about a chunk of wood that we picked up. I showed you to you in the truck. Brent covered it up so if there was any blowing snow. There's part of it. And then the sides. It's going to be gorgeous. It's really thick. And then this side over here. We're going to sand the heck out of it. Trim a little bit off when the weather gets a little bit better. And we'll show you the process. Excited about it. We're planning on repurposing our pedestal from the trailer, although I do have my doubts. We'll see how that pans out.
This is my latest project. Miriam's just hooking up the shop vac. This chunk of 4-inch Doug fir, I've got it, I believe it's like 53-inch long, 54-inch long. So I've got to shave off a little bit here. And this end's a little bit beat up, so I'll be shaving a little bit off of this end, probably 1 inch off of each end. And then I've just started to sand a little bit of the rough crap that's sitting on the side of it. It is all live edge, of course. This was chopped down by a guy just south of Creston in 1998 when he moved in on his property. And we're going to turn it into our table, dining table. We're going to try and use the pedestal that was in the trailer because I took that pedestal out, changed the table into a fold down unit. So hopefully that works. It weighs up, I'm guessing, in the 70-pound range, 70, 80 pound range. So I just finished running a buffer over the whole thing, just over the top. Miriam's gonna vacuum it off, and then we'll flip it over, do the same thing, and move it inside because I won't be able to do any heavy-duty sanding or polyurethane on it, or even mounting it to the pedestal for a couple months anyways. And Bailey's over at her favorite place over there. And Wrigley's over here, wondering what's going on. So that's where we're sitting right now. This is the start of our table. And I think it's going to look pretty good because it's got a nice grain to it. Once I get it sanded down, flipped over, sanded down, I'll find out the better side. And we'll go from there. She's over there visiting Richard's truck that's not there, wondering where he is. Sorry, Mike, this is her new boyfriend.
for your entertainment, I'm going to put this, moving this chunk of wood on time lapse because we're going to put it all the way upstairs from outside.
One more thing I'd like to point out. This, I basically gave it a buffing on the other side to get rid of some of the dirt and some of the crap that has been growing on it for the past 22 years, 24 years. Anyways, this is the underside of it. I like the grain of this. We'd have to put a little bit of epoxy filler in. So yeah, top, maybe. Still not determined yet.
And then,
but anyways,
and then the edge of the table would just flow underneath.
Yeah, true enough. This would give us a wider tabletop. If we have it the other way, the edges of the tree go in, so it'd be just a little bit narrower tabletop if we had it the other way around. So, yet to be determined. And right now we're going to move this sucker in, let it acclimate to the upstairs, and we'll just leave it there for probably at least another month or month and a half before I bring it back out and get to work on the sanding.
Can you humor your wife and just flip up the...
Lift it up so you can see?
Yeah.
This looks like a better side, but there's so much character on the other side. This one has more smaller knots and stuff like that, so I like that. But the edges are going away. So if we have it this way, it'll be a smaller tabletop. If we have it the other way, this side up, it'd probably give us an extra 4 or 5 inches.
What are you doing, Bailey? Did you find a cozy spot to lie down? Huh? That's Mom and Dad's table.
Nice and flat.
And I can see out the window here.
Yeah.
Did you find any
Well, it
deer?
smells good.
Do you like that? Maybe we should put a blanket on it?
She's looking at me for a reaction.
I don't know.
Since we've sanded all this stuff inside and we haven't started staining yet, my next big project is our live edge table. This big beast here. I'm going to cut off the end with a chainsaw, and then I'll do the same at this end here to make it all nice and level. So it should work really well, and we were not sure how to get it to the right height. So what I'm going to try is this pedestal here. This is the one that came out of Blondie.
I'm the weight to hold this sucker down while Brent cuts the end off. So there's one end.
We have lopped off the ends here, both ends of this table, and now comes the big job of sanding it. This will be the bottom, as the top looks a little bit wider, so the top is probably going to be about 6-7 inches wider once we flip the table over, because the rounded edges of the live edge. So that'll be the short end and the narrow end, and this will be the end that sticks out in towards the fireplace. So now all we have to do is lift it up on the table, and I'll get busy standing. Well, that didn't take too long. As you can see, I used the belt sander to start with. And I've got a 50 grit on there. Took most of it off. It was pretty much like a black for the whole thing. And then I went to the oscillating tool with a 60 pad grit on that. I brought out a 120 as well, but the 60 actually did a really good job. Just have to give it a little brush off. Just brush it down a little bit. Maybe use a wire brush just to get all of the sand out of the little bits and corners and all that. Turned out fairly well. There was a lot of, I guess you could say, mildew on the bottom side here. So I got all of that off. And it's looking good. So this is ready for Miriam to brush it down and then give it a paint job. And once that is done, we can center that puppy there. But I've probably got a lot of sanding to do. I'm probably going to go through at least 2 or 3 belts on the sander just doing that sucker. But I'm good with that. It's going to be one of the nicest pieces in our place. We've got live edge countertop. This will look a little bit different because this one here is Doug fir. The countertop is acacia. But we can stain them similar colors, so it's not a big deal. This is all my tabletop that we're making, or that I'm making. It's got a live edge on each side. And I'll show you the profile. So we get, comes up here a little bit. And then on that side, it's actually a fairly sharp profile. So it's wider on top than it will be on the bottom. But I love it the way it turned out. I did the test with the black last night in some of these end holes here. And they basically drained out either here or down this center crack. As you can see, these ones here, that's all dried black epoxy. I'll sand that off tomorrow. And then the blue is in there. The blue is sitting nicely. So there's no holes below that. It's not draining to anywhere. And yeah, I've got a little bit over there, a little bit there. There's a little pool here. And then this here, that's the end that I will usually be sitting at, because this is the narrower end. And my big butt has to get out from that corner. So anyways, yet I digress. So everything turned out pretty good. I'll wait till it dries overnight tonight, give it a good sand, and if I like what I see, and I don't have to put any more epoxy in. That's my buddy Andrew driving by. Anyways, if I don't have to put any more epoxy in, I will give it a nice good sand, get it down to a 120 grit, maybe even do a 180 or a 220 grit. Get it nice and smooth, and then varathane the crap out of it. Wrigley knows I have a marrow bone in my pocket, or had one in my pocket. We're going on a little trip to Cranbrook today. I have to pick up a couple of things that were special orders. Anyways, this is my table, how it turned out. The blue here turned out beautiful. Nice and smooth all the way along, so there's no rough spots anymore. This one here is a little bit sunken, maybe a 1/16 of an inch down. But the rest of these cracks here that I filled in, and this knot hole, oh, they turned out beautiful. This little bit of black here that leaked through this side yesterday, and then this little bit of couple of blue drops, I'll just sand that off. I've got a 180 grit on the sander right now, so I'll take that down, and if it turns out okay, that's the way it'll stay. If not, I'll go to a 180 or a 220 grit. Make it nice and smooth, and then I can lacquer it. I want to put at least 3 or 4 coats on top of this. I'll put a couple of coats on the bottom, sides, ends, but the top is what counts. That's where the plates are going to be sitting. And I'll show you when it's all finished, because once I finish lacquering, I can mount it to the base, or the pedestal, and I can move it on inside. And then I'll let you see what it looks like then.
Well, after much ado and many days of sanding and staining and varnishing and the whole 9 yards, We now have a table and a banquet in our kitchen.
Turned out pretty good.
Yeah, I love the blue on the tabletop.
Yeah, it turned out really well. I just have to sand it down a little bit more to make it perfect. And then slight movement of the pedestal, about a 1/2 inch in one direction, so it'll be a little more stable. And then I just have to brace the ends so it doesn't wobble. It does wobble a little bit, but I'd like it solid as a rock. And yeah, it's not a big problem. Just a couple of supports and we're good. And it's the perfect height for the chairs and the banquet. So yeah, everything worked out well.
But essentially it's done.
It is done.
Now we can sit that back, relax, and figure out how we're going to get that carport done.
Yeah, well, I've pretty much got that all set up. I just have to rip some plywood and set up the rebar and put in some spikes into the ground, and it'll be good to go.
Alrighty. Well, that's our kitchen nook for us. So that's all we wanted to share with you this week.
Give us a thumbs up if you like what you see.
Don't forget to subscribe.
Ring that bell for notifications.
Bye-bye for now. Anyways, oops, sorry, sunshine. Oh, too much sunshine.
Miriam's looking to see if the camera is running. See, it's running properly, honey.
Good job, Brent.
Yay. It's not my greatest accomplishment, but yeah, I'm not totally adept at running the camera.